All right, everybody. I want to welcome you to yet another live trade. Glad to have you guys all here. Welcome, everyone. It is Monday, April 26, 2021, and back with you for another live stream. Before we begin, let me just go ahead and do the disclaimer and get that out of the way as we enter into yet another Monday here at noon. Very quickly, this disclaimer you see on the screen, you can read it in its entirety. All you have to do is just simply hit pause on the recording, which will be available shortly after the live stream. But for right now, I just want to mention two quick things. Number one, stock and options and crypto trading. These have large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. And number two, I'm not an investment advisor. All right, I am here in the capacity of educating and showing you how it is that I spot rules-based opportunities and create alternative risk trades other than simply buying and going long. All right, so again, you can read it in its entirety. Guys, tell me where you're at, where you're coming in from today as we're here for starting another live stream. I want to talk about, well, we're going to do the whole overlay. And we're coming into the end of yet another profitable month in terms of seasonal trading. And we'll look at that as well, all right? Because seasonalities look really good coming into April. But I want to see where we head into this last week. I want to talk about FAANG stocks. We got to go through earnings. FAANG stocks, the majority of them are coming in with earnings today. So we have that as well. Cryptocurrencies had a big bounce. I want to show you where that bounce came and where our expectations are to go next for the big ones. So glad to see all of you coming in here. Tarpon Springs in the house, Miami, Oregon, Palm Beach. Got a couple folks from Florida. Calgary. Brandon, how cold is it in Calgary? I've been in Calgary one time. I went up there and I did a live seminar in Calgary in the middle of winter. I have to tell you, I was chilled to the bone from the moment I touched down till I left that place. But it was beautiful. It was just very cold. Miami's here, Lake Tahoe, Atlanta, my old stomping grounds in Atlanta. So glad to see all you guys coming in. This is fantastic. So we want to move forward. Let me show you what we're covering today. So again, I want to do market news. I want to kind of come back. And, the biggest news right now that everyone's talking about isn't even news yet. It's the upcoming reports for Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla as well. And so I believe Tesla's starting off the party this week. But I want to show you, as part of our live stream today, how we could look at these stocks and get an idea of where they're going to move after the earnings are announced. There's a very easy but little known way to spot these moves. I'm going to show each and every one of you how we spot these moves and how an option trader can get an idea on where these pops or drops are going to occur in terms of price. So that's going to happen as well. Bitcoin, Ether, big rebounds. Most of it all happened last night. And so I want to share with you that. We're going to go back and revisit fib charts. And we're going to see, did the levels hold and offer us some interesting buying opportunities, right? So that and much more over the course of the hour. Do me a favor, guys, if you're here and you've been here before and you enjoy this education that we offer here, please do me a favor, hit that like button, all right? Just pound that like button, smash it, because it helps support our channel here at Tom's Trading Room. And if you're new for the first time, if you've somehow found us, whether it was by accident or not, all right, then if you hit the subscribe button and make sure that you ding that bell next to it, then every time we offer up a live stream or a video or a podcast, and we do one of each of those every week, then you'll be notified the instant that we go live. You'll be notified the instant that a video is sent your way. All right. So I do really appreciate the likes that you guys are putting on our screen. Now, I don't ever expect to have 10 or 20,000 people watching me all at one time on a live stream. nor do I care if I get it. All right. In fact, I want to let you guys know this. We do monetize this video, but all of our proceeds, 100% of them, go to charity. Right? I don't need the money that YouTube is providing on ad rev. So, we did this last year. We're doing it again this year. All of our money for 2021 goes straight to charities. And we put those charities up on tomgentile.com under a giving back section if you want to see where the money's going. And so keep in mind, you watching this, you are helping to support all of these various charities that we give money to every year. So thank you, all right, for not only supporting the channel, but for supporting charities that are out there as well. All right, let's get going. No further me yapping. Let's get right to it. So I'm going to get to the real-time screens in a moment, but I want to go to stock charts first. And what we're going to do here is we're going to start with a big overlay. Now, I did last week we did channels, I believe. We were doing channels. So I want to flip back to Fibonacci. And we also did Fibonacci last week in crypto. I want to revisit that and look and see where did those buying opportunities hold? Did they break down? Because we're going to look at literally the same exact fib levels we looked at last week. So this is going to be great. Now, in order to get the Fibonacci levels here on my charts, and if you're kind of following along with me, I know a lot of you use Tom's Option Tools, our software. Thank you for being loyal subscribers. By the way, if you're brand new and you want to check out Tom's Option Tools, below this video there's a link that will allow you to get a two-week free trial on everything. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go over here to the right-hand side. Down at the bottom, just above the word that says hide channels, that button, you'll see something that says stock chart Fibonacci. Just click the check mark box there, click on update, and it's going to put in the auto Fibonacci levels. Now, we're going to need to tweak this a little bit because when I look at the S&P, I see that 80 days ago we were down on the bottom. So I want to bring that out a little bit. So let's bring that out to 100. Let's hit it again. All right, so we're still near the bottom. All right, let's bring that out to 150. So 150 is going to take us back into October. And as you can see here, we did do a pullback. So we had a double bottom that happened in the area of the end of September to really the beginning of November. This is a great starting point for Fibonacci. I get this question all the time. Where do you start your fib levels at? And the answer is I start them where I see a significant pullback. This is a perfect place. So I'm using a 150-day chart right now on SPY. I'm going to blow this up and try to bring up as much of this chart as I can so that you see that in the window. Also, I'm going to try to keep my face out of the picture. So I do see my face in the lower left-hand corner. I'll make sure that at least the chart is right above my face. So there we go. All right, now let's go and take a look at what's going on with SPY. So SPY back at the end of this September and the beginning of November put a bottom in down here just around the 320 level. Since then, we've seen a climb. Now, this is going to be very, very easy for us to look at Fibonacci on the S&P because we're at the 100% level right now. We have not had a significant pullback since last year. So if we were to pull back, then I would see the pullbacks for S&P happening around the 381.45 level. Does everybody see that there? The 50% level is going to be 370. The 58% level, or 62% level, is going to be 358.95. So the way this works, my wife was asking me this question over the weekend. She goes, how do you determine, what do these percentages mean? And I thought, wow, if she's asking this question, then there's probably other people looking at this for the very first time and are asking the question too. All right? And that is, how do you read this? What do you mean percentage? What percentage of what? All right, so percentage of what, and let me see if I can change this legend where I can get this thing closer to the middle. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, so if you notice here, down here at the bottom, lower left-hand corner to upper right-hand corner, is the move in the market. If this move right here today were to become the high for the time being, then what I'm seeing is that from this low here to this high, half of that move, see that middle line and that line right in the middle of these three? So 1, 2, 3. That one in the middle represents a 50% pullback. Half the distance back from the move from the beginning of the chart to the end of the chart. That's a 50% off. Let's call it that. 38% off is the first line. 50% off is the second line. 62% off is the third line. When I showed it to her like that, she says, I get it now. Okay, so these are areas to potentially look at buying opportunities based on these percentage pullbacks. I said, yes, wife, you've got it. So that's how you would read a Fibonacci chart. Again, the biggest concern about Fibonacci charts is where do you start and where do you end? Well, the start's going to be a significant low and the end's going to be a significant high. You can also start on a significant high and end on a significant low if you're looking for instance, a downtrend to pull back up. We're going to look at that next. Take a look at the bond market. So here's TLT. TLT is doing exactly the opposite. TLT was trading at a high of 165 back at the end of September, and it trended all the way down, and it made a significant low back in March, and we're starting to see a pullback. So where does the pullback end? Potentially, we're going to see some resistance at the 38% level if the bonds were to pull up to 145.84. The 50% retracement is at 149.52, and the 61% retracement is at 153.20. So that's where we see the pull-ups from stocks or assets that trend down. All right. So that's TLT. Let's move on. Let's take a look at the next one. The next one is the dollar. Now, I'm not a big fan of trading the US dollar or UUP. What I do is I look at this to help me gauge where stocks and commodities are likely to go. As you can see, we had a significant high on the US dollar back at the end of September when we were trading at 25.55 for UUP. UUP came all the way down to 24.09. Then we had a move that took us all the way up to above 25, and now we're resuming back down. So it is safe for me to say that on this chart, the Fibonacci retracements are not doing so well. Now, you could look at this a couple of different ways. We have the chart from the extreme high to the extreme low, but we could actually change we could change the price levels here. And we could say to ourselves, well, what about looking at from this low to this high? Did we get a significant pullback for another move to the upside? And the answer is no. There's been so much movement in the US dollar, I have to discount this. I have to go and discount this and just say that there are some charts that Fibonacci does not work on. And for me, right now, Fibonacci is not working on this as well. Guys, I'm seeing all of you coming in from different parts of the country as well as different parts of the world. Welcome. All right, as I see some of the folks that are here with some questions. Angela has a fantastic question. It's been asked before, but I need to ask and answer it again. On which of these do I gauge the best pullback, the 30 or the 50%? And Angela, the answer is yes. The answer is the 30 to 50% area I really love. That 38 to 50% pullback is a great buy pullback. On an uptrend that's pulled back, it's a great sell area. On a downtrend that's pulled up. Right, so that's something that if we were to go and look at, let's look at another one. Let's look at oil. So oil had a significant low just before the election last year, down here at 25.25. And then it had a high that came in at 44.60. Now, it started to pull back, but we didn't get anywhere near the 38% or the 50%. But if we were to come into this area, that's where I wanted to be a buyer of USO and a buyer of oil. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Now, gold's another one that's been kind of all over the place. So gold's been in a downtrend, and gold had highs. Now, these weren't the absolute highs, but gold hit some highs at around 184, and that high came in both at the beginning of November, and then it just stabbed it at the beginning of the year before coming down, and it hit a low level at 157.49. Now it's pulled up. Notice we pulled up to the 38% retracement level. I love gold as a long-term asset, all right? My belief is that I want to keep a certain percentage of my assets in gold, no matter how much everybody else hates them. Because, in fact, I love when people hate something so much, like a commodity, because it gives me an opportunity to go in and buy. But as a trader, not an owner, but as a trader of gold, I look at this and I think, wow, if I were long gold, this would be an interesting area where maybe I might want to take some off the table, because if we are hitting that resistance level on GLD, could we go back down and double bottom? It's most certainly possible we could. And with the moves we had in Bitcoin this weekend, especially last night, that might happen with gold and GLD. So GLD is in a downtrend, and we've seen a pullback up. Is this the area of resistance before we resume a downtrend? Perhaps it is. Let's move on. And I'm going to stop right here with Facebook, because I'm going to look at Facebook and I'm going to look at the FAANG stocks as a whole a little bit later in this broadcast. And the reason why is because we're going to tie Facebook to earnings. We're going to tie Apple to earnings, Amazon to earnings. Netflix already reported, so we're going to skip it. We're going to move to Google's earnings, and of course Tesla as well. So we're going to look at those five stocks. And I'm going to show you later on in this live stream how you can use options to determine where these stocks are likely to go to right after their earnings announcement. All right, so we're going to get a good read, a really good read on what the option traders believe these stocks are going to do after earnings by making a very simple mathematical equation. Just going to do some simple mathematics. I'll show you exactly what options I'm using, what expirations I'm using, and how we calculate that 68% area. So, guys, I see you coming in from all different parts of the world. Welcome. And if you're just joining me, I want to mention that we've done an overview of the markets. All right, we did an overview of stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities. I want to go into crypto. Before I do, let me set the tone here. The stock market still has a little bit seasonality, still has a little bit of breathing life in it to the upside. Sell in May and go away happens next week. I want to talk about what that is next week, and I want to show you what I see on my seasonal charts. We're going to save that for next Monday. If you like what you see, do me a big favor. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button below. All right, it's just below this video over on the left-hand side. If you could hit that like button, that thumbs up button, that really helps support the channel. It also helps support our causes because, like I mentioned earlier, all of our proceeds, all right, all the proceeds for this year, we did this last year, we'll do it again this year, all of our proceeds from this channel that are monetized go to charity. So by supporting us, by hanging out with us, hitting that like button too, it helps continue to support various charities, not here only in the country, but around the world. If you want to check those charities out that we're giving to, TomGentile.com, we got a little area called Giving Back, and you can see what we've done. And as we give to more charities, we will continue to add to those lists. Thank you very much, all of you that are hanging out here, for helping support these various charities. Okay, so let's go to cryptocurrency. Let's take a look at what's going on with it. So I was very happy to wake up this morning and see the bounce that happened, and I want to show you what I'm talking about. Check this out over here. This was last night when the futures markets opened for Bitcoin. All right, so BTC, in fact, what I'm going to do is I am going to make this a one boxer. All right, BTC. So this is, now what happens is, for those of you that don't know, Bitcoin and Ethereum are now traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange as a futures contract. A futures contract is similar to options. All right, it gives future delivery. Now, these contracts come up once a month, and they're traded on firms like Charles Schwab offers crypto futures trading. Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade, they offer trading in cryptocurrency futures. All right. because it is a regulated product. This is what we call a 24/5 product. 24/5 means that it runs basically 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, starts Sunday afternoon and ends on Friday afternoon. Here's what happened yesterday afternoon. All right, so at 6 p.m. Sunday afternoon, Bitcoin opened, the futures opened at 47,423. Now, if you looked at what cryptocurrencies were doing over the weekend, they had another fallout. Somehow they hit a floor Sunday night, because from Sunday night, we went from 47,000 to 54,000 by this morning. That is a huge, huge move. All right, so just to give you an idea, I use this, now every once in a while I trade these, but I typically use the futures markets to get kind of a read on what futures traders feel about cryptocurrency. The futures contract is good for 5 Bitcoins. So I want you to pay careful attention to me right now. If 5 Bitcoins are trading at 50,000, you have a product that has $250,000 worth of Bitcoin in it at that time, moving up and down. So it's going to move. If Bitcoin goes up $1,000, then the contract's going to go up by $5,000. If Bitcoin goes down $1,000, it's going to drop by $5,000. This is one of the few products that you can short sell Bitcoin on. And there's a fair amount of traders out there who hedge their cryptocurrency by selling this contract against cryptocurrency that they own. All right. This is a cash settled product, which basically means at the end of its life cycle, you will either make money or lose money, and it will be added to or deducted from your account. But I want to mention this. This has a lot of leverage to it. Now, you just noticed, if you're watching me, you might have saw my chart turn red, all right? So that screen, the whole background turned red because in the first hour of today, since 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning, Bitcoin traded right into this trading range here. So between 9:30 and 10:30, we were trading between 53,310 and 54,015. We just broke below that. So now we're below the first hour of the day since the stock market has been open, which was at 9:30 this morning. But keep in mind, we're still 4.5% higher than we were Friday afternoon. Here's Friday afternoon's close. Here's Sunday night's open. Sunday night's open was much, much lower. And so from Sunday morning, or from Sunday afternoon to today, big moves, right? Elon Musk was doing some more tweeting on cryptocurrency again last night, and how Tesla is going to add to their purchase price. And I believe a lot of that had to do with the run-up that we saw in cryptocurrency. So this is Bitcoin. The other one that recently came up that's now trackable through Thinkorswim and even tradable through Thinkorswim and Charles Schwab is Ethereum. The symbol for Ethereum, if you're tracking these, the symbol for Bitcoin is /BTC on Thinkorswim. For Ethereum, it's /ETH. And if you go to ETH, you'll see what's called Ether futures. And Ether futures did a lot of the same. They opened lower. They opened down here at 22.20. They rose as high as 25.30 or 25.26. Right? This was a $300 move. This is basically, it was a 15% move between yesterday afternoon and where we are right now. Although, even though it shows only up 4.28%, it didn't include last night's open. Big move higher. And of course, here we are getting a bit of a pullback here also in Ethereum. But Ethereum is also a futures contract like Bitcoin, and it is set monthly. So these particular options, and you have to go to the futures exchange to find out when their last traded dates are, but they're typically at the end, the last week of every month is when they typically close up, and then the next month's contract becomes the front month contract. Again, I don't teach how to trade futures contracts. That's something I leave up to you, but what I wanted to make sure that I showed you here is I wanted to show you where you can get information and get charts on this in real time If you want to see real-time charts, this is one way to look at the real-time futures charts of the big ones, and I'm talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, let's move forward and let's take a look at some buy-in prices and how did they happen and how did they do. So to do that, we're going back to Tom's option tools. We're going over to cryptocurrency charts. And I'm going to start with Bitcoin. Now, where we're going to is the beginning of the year. So if you remember, if I back up a bit, let's go back 120 days. And I want to share with you 120 days. So 120 days ago, this was just coming out of Christmas, and we saw Bitcoin in the 20s, and it ran as high as $40,000 before starting to break down. And it hits some bottoms right here. So I'm going to pull this back to 100 days because we know where the pullback low is. So now that we know where the pullback low is, let's take a look and see what's happened since then. The pullback low happened at the end of January. Then we had this big rally up, all right? Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, pullback. Okay, we didn't have a higher low, so we did have a pullback. So the pullback was great enough to take us from 63,558.50. Now, first of all, to answer the question that you may have up here, take a look at that price that I have here. That's not the high of cryptocurrency. That's the closing high of Bitcoin. We use closing prices, all right? They mean a lot more to us than the wicks on the ends. Closing low to closing high. And then we start to look at the pullbacks. Now take a look at the pullback that happened. This was, so today, Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday. Thursday, we hit the 38% pullback. Yesterday, that was Sunday, we hit the 50% pullback and ran right off of that. And then today, you see that big climb out. So we came in the 38 to 50% pullback area. We climbed out of it. We're significantly above this. This is a very bullish sign for cryptocurrency. All right, there you go. That's Bitcoin. So our buys at 50,009 and 46,990 look good. So that is BTC. Let's look at ETH. Then I'm going to take a look at some of the comments and questions, and we'll throw those out there. And someone was asking me last week, why don't you have a super chat? I'll have a super chat next week, guys. All right. And again, super chats are a way of donating to the channel. I'll let you know, just like everything else, any donations that come into this channel are going right out to charity. All right, so keep that in mind too. For those of you that have been waiting for super chat, we'll have super chat next week. All right, so ETH, this is Ethereum. So Ethereum also had lows, but their lows occurred toward the middle of January. And then we had that higher high. That came in February, higher low. The next higher high area came really in the month of April. But we had this significant rush up. As people were rushing into this, this was 11.11 back in January. And then to go to 25.17, it more than doubled in value. Look at this pullback we had. The pullback happened over a week ago. We looked at this last week. The pullback was 1980.14. We touched that. Then we ran up and made new highs, but pulled back a bit. But here we are. We are closing in on some new highs for Ethereum. And so that's happening as we speak. Now, I'm going to give you some ideas on predictions here. My predictions, and I'll take them far out, and then I'll work my way back. My far out prediction for Bitcoin is 500,000 by 2030. Now, let's pull back to something that's a little more you and me. How about the end of this year? All right, I got a number for you. How about 100,000 by the end of this year? That's highly doable. Now, what that would mean is that Bitcoin would double in value from where it is today. You take a look at Ethereum, it's at 2,500. Is it safe to say that Ethereum could go to 5,000 by the end of the year? Yes. But there's something I think is going to happen to Ethereum. I think Ethereum is going to catch up to BTC, and I believe that is going to happen in terms of market cap. So if we take a look at a website, we take a look at CoinMarketCap. I'm going to throw CoinMarketCap on the screen for everybody to see. So I put it on a different channel or a different page. Let's bring this up real quick. These are the coins right now that if you take a look at the top, these are the top 3, for instance. Bitcoin. These buys do not say it's a buying opportunity. These buys mean if you want to buy it, you click the buy button, and then you get routed to your cryptocurrency exchange. All right. So what I want to share with you is right over here. Bitcoin, 52,967. So it's up over 5% today. Take a look at the market cap. All right. The market cap is just under $1 trillion. We hit $1 trillion market cap somewhere around the 54,000 areas where we hit $1 trillion. But I want you to pay attention to Ethereum. Ethereum is closing in on a $300 billion market cap. So what I expect to happen is I expect Ethereum's market cap to come up and meet Bitcoin's market cap. Now, in order for that to happen right now, Ethereum would have to go to 7,500 and Bitcoin would have to stay the same. That's entirely possible. I don't think it's probable. What I believe is going to happen is that you're going to see Bitcoin continue to rise, but you're going to see Ethereum rise at a much greater percentage. And the reason I say that is because Ethereum is just, even though Bitcoin is the foundational coin, Ethereum just offers so much more to the crypto community, to the blockchain, and to the network as a whole, right? From efficiency to the fact that most altcoins are minted using the ERC-25 platform. And so that's what makes Ethereum so much more valuable. So on pullbacks, for me, I've got plenty of Bitcoin. So on pullbacks, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my eyes on Ethereum, and I am adding to my Ethereum positions as we hit these Fibonacci pullbacks. And as you can see, it hasn't been too many times I can add to Ethereum because I haven't had the pullbacks like we've seen with Bitcoin. Ethereum is already showing its strength. But as we continue to see pullbacks in Ethereum, I think that's the stronger of the two, and that's the one that I'm going to be putting my money or adding my money to. All right. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Let's roll down here a little bit more. Look at this Dogecoin. So I decided for the first time ever to speak about Dogecoin last week. And I'm going to say what I said along. When you look at Dogecoin and you run out there and you look at when you look at the definitions of these coins, Dogecoin is it was created on a joke, on a meme. I don't add to long-term assets. I don't add long-term assets to my portfolio based on a joke or a meme. So I just stayed out of this area. I think this is just for anything, it's a trap. My brother-in-law happens to own Dogecoin somewhere down in the 1 penny range. Good for him. Congratulations. I hear about it all the time. So he's done well on a percentage basis. But I will continue to not venture into this area because this is where the risk is in the market, in the crypto market in my mind. Okay, so I wanted to share that with everybody. Let's go ahead and bump out of there. So that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's take a look real quick at what we got going on. And again, guys, so many of you in here chatting. I apologize right off the bat if I don't get to your chat and I don't mention you. It's not because I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just it's tough to roll through all these chats. But I want to thank all of you that are coming in and telling me where you're coming in from. From around the world. Love it. I've got Ron's coming in Bradenton. That's just above me in Sarasota. He's as close as I think I've seen. I actually saw one of them. I got to show you guys this. So check this out. Look, I'm an easy guy to approach. I'm an approachable guy. And there's nothing more than being approached by, folks that know me and, our students and folks, the subscribers that subscribe to some of our stuff. So I had to go into Lowe's. And I walk into Lowe's. Here is, I hope you can see this. I got to see if I can see me showing you this. So I walk into Lowe's. And sure enough, one of the guys, one of our subscribers, tracks me down. He says, Tom, And I look, I have no idea who it is. I got my mask on. This guy saw me with my mask on, and he says, "Hey, I follow your crypto stuff, doing really well." And I'm like, "That's great." He goes, "Are you nervous about the pullback?" And I went, "No, you know what? Long-term hold, looking for additional buys." Asked him where he was. This guy's from Michigan, moved down to Florida. Decided he wanted better weather, better taxes. Anyway, I said, "Hey, let's do a quick shot," because I always like to screenshot and do selfies when I run into somebody who knows me, and then I'll send them the selfie. So I went and flipped that selfie over to his cell phone, and it was great to meet you, Chris. Awesome to have you. I know you watched the channel too, so big shout out to you. But I wanted to just mention that, you guys see me anywhere. Feel free to come say hi to me. Like I said, very approachable. I've met our subscribers and our followers in bars. I've met them at the airport. I've met them in shopping centers. My wife can't. She shakes her head. She's like, oh, but she's laughing about it too. She thinks it's hilarious. But anyway, glad to meet Chris and all you guys. Luis, saw you over at not too long ago over at the local pub. And it was great to meet you as well. And, I'm amazed you guys can see me, with the mask on and recognize me, but I really appreciate it. And appreciate all you guys that are popping into the channel, by the way. If you're just joining me, what I want to do is I want to shift gears now. And I want to talk a little bit about earnings, all right? And so as I move out of cryptocurrency, realize that we can go into, if you take our 2-week free trial, on Tom's Option Tools, you also have access to our cryptocurrency tools, and you would access them up here at the top where it says Home. You just go into Crypto Tools. I've got something called Crypto Startup. We've got Crypto Darknet, which is our Darknet channel system. We've also got moving averages on here as well. But you can do these Fibonacci's. Someone was asking about Litecoin last week, and here's LTC. And so LTC also, take a look at what happened just yesterday in the last couple days. LTC hit, it went 308.72, pulled back to 215. First of all, we were in that the area of about looks like about 241. And that was a 50% retrace or 38% retracement. Well, yesterday we hit the 215 area, 50% retracement. We're bouncing out of that today. So Litecoin looks like a very great Fibonacci buy point as well. And again, I apologize to all of you who are throwing in coins. But again, what we're doing is if you just simply take the last 100 calendar days, because the last 100 calendar days are showing for most cryptos the low, the high, and then these pullback ranges we're looking at as well. All right. David from Santa Rosa. Elleton, Florida. I actually saw one of Donna. I saw one of our YouTube followers. Where was it? We were at the Ellington. You know where the Ellington Mall is? Where all the what do you call them? The shops in Ellington. We were there. We were heading over to the bridge over to the Manatee River, and we stopped over at the mall to check out a couple things. And I actually saw somebody at the food court because if there's a mall, I'm going to be at the food court. That's part of the process. Anyway, welcome. Glad to have you here. Al coming in from Germany. Austin, Texas is here. Awesome to see you guys. And glad to have you on the channel. Guys, if you're just joining me on the channel, we have now talked about our overview. Stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities, crypto. We went through cryptocurrencies and we looked at buying opportunities in crypto. I'm going to go into earnings for the last session of what I want to cover with you here during the hour. For those of you who just joined, do me a huge favor, all right? I don't want you to do me a favor, but I do. What I want you to do is if you find this live stream educational by any means, do me a favor, hit that like button below. All right, it should be just below my face on the live stream. By hitting that like button, you're doing two things for us. Number one, you're helping to support the channel, and you're making me feel like I want to do these every week. Number two, we do monetize the channel. I'm not going to lie to you about that. All right, so there's little banner ads that might pop up, commercial here or there, but all the proceeds from our YouTube channel, we did this last year in 2020 when we started the channel. We are doing it again in 2021. All the proceeds are going to charity. All right. And so that is thousands and thousands of dollars that are going to charities here, not only in the country, but even to charities around the world. So by hitting that like button, by watching us on the channel, you are helping contribute to charities in need. And then finally, for those of you that are new, after you hit that like button, do yourself another favor, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell, and then you'll know we do about 3 videos a week here. So we do the live stream, we do another video, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what we're doing for our video for tomorrow that we'll have out tomorrow. And we also do a podcast. I podcast with Chris Johnson at the end of every week as well. All of that is viewable right here on our YouTube channel. So I want to thank you all for being part of it. All right, let's move on to earnings. So I want to go back to our stock charts. All right, we got earnings on tap. We're right in the thick of earnings. This particular week, last week and this week are what I call the earnings sweet spots. All right, so earnings are almost like a bell curve. They start out at the beginning of the month, and then they run into about the middle of next month. So the middle of this month to middle of April to middle of May. But when you get down into the end of April and beginning of May, that's the sweet spot. That's when most companies are reporting. And the big companies are reporting this week. And the 5 I want to pay attention to are part of the FAANG group. So today what I want to do is I don't want to sit here with you and bet that something is going to go up versus go down. All right. There's plenty of live streams out there. If you want to go watch somebody that sits and looks at charts all day and says, oh, it's going up, oh, it's going down, to the moon, plenty of channels you can go to find that. What I want to do is I want to try to teach you some things in here that you can use going forward. I don't live stream every day for 8 hours a day. I don't need to. And I don't want to waste your time. So what I want to do is make sure we walk away from a live stream learning something. This week's learning topic is how to predict, all right, with a high degree of probability, where these stocks are going to go right after they announce earnings. Now, to do that, we turn to the options traders. And we're going to look at options, and we're going to use 2 options to determine that standard deviation move, that expected move that we're looking at that is likely to happen moving forward. Now, is it a guarantee it's going to happen 100% of the time? No, not at all. But more often than not, this easy, simple tool I'm going to teach you, and you don't need my tools, you don't need anything. All you need is to get some options prices, and you're able to utilize this with option prices. So here's how we're going to do it. Let's look at Facebook. Facebook right now, and I want to turn off some of these charts. So I'm going to turn off the fib levels. All right, we're not going to talk about fib levels. We're not going to talk about moving averages. I really want to focus on just the price. And I want to look at the price over the last 50 days. So let's update this. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come right up here. And I'm going to put in FB for Facebook. And I'm just going to look at Facebook stock only. All right, here's Facebook stock. Now, I will add one more overlay to this. Let's add the implied volatility. This is what the option traders are looking at. All right, so we got 2 charts on the screen, or 2 lines. First is a candlestick. This is the stock's price. The red line is the at-the-money calls and puts, or near-money calls and puts for Facebook over time. So if you take a look at this, this is at 7 to 30 days. So we're constantly looking at the 7 to 30-day options, and we're actually creating a chart of the implied volatility of the options. I know it's hard to understand that, but just get a read on this. That red line there, that tells me how hot or how cold those options are. So if you take a look a couple weeks ago, they were running fairly cold down here in the 30s. But look what's happened just in the last couple weeks. We're seeing a breakout to the upside because more calls are being bought and more puts are being bought. Calls are being bought because there's speculation that after earnings, Facebook stock is going to pop up. Puts are being bought because of 2 reasons. There are folks that own Facebook that want to protect their Facebook from dropping by buying puts. Then there are speculators who think that Facebook is going to open down, who are just outright buying puts ahead of earnings. All this call and put buying is pushing that red line higher, and it's basically telling me that the option prices in Facebook are going up at least for the next couple days. Now, I'm going to remove this chart, and I want to put none up here, because the reason why is that when I remove that chart, and let's do this. Let's move over to my stock list for a moment. And I want to let's bring in Facebook. So let's get past all the stuff we mentioned this morning. And I'm not seeing it on here. You know what? I'm just going to go stock charts. We're going to bring it up. I need to see something that I'm not seeing right now. Not sure why I'm not seeing it, but very, very weird that this is happening on me right now in the middle of a live stream, for heaven's sakes. Okay, let's go with some moving averages. I'm going to put the simples up here. Let me see if I can update down on the simples and see if I can get what I'm looking for. All right, I'm not getting what I'm looking for, so I'm just going to go forward and let you know that Facebook is announcing earnings in 2 days. All right, so we know Facebook's announcing earnings in 2 days. I'm actually going to go to the stock charts from here and see if I can push that to come up, and it's still not. That's okay. All right, we'll move on. So we know Facebook, we know Apple, Amazon, Google, and Tesla are announcing earnings this week. We'll start with Facebook. Facebook's announcing earnings. We also know that that overlay, that implied volatility, is telling us that options are getting more expensive. So in this case, I need to see where these options are coming in at. There we go. I just figured out how to do that. I had 100 days on here. Now I'm able to look at earnings. Next earnings are in 2 days. So Facebook's earnings are going to be announced on the 28th after market close. What I want to do is I want to go to some options. And to do that, I'm going to create a separate window. And I'm actually going to bring up option chains on Facebook. FB. Now, here's how we do this. What I want to look at is I want to look at the options that are expiring this Friday. It's the only ones I'm interested in. They have 4 days to expiration. These are the ones that are going to be the most significant. The options that expire just after earnings. They're going to have the highest amount of movement after earnings. All right, so we're going to be looking at options that have deltas of 50 and minus 50, but these options have a lot of gamma to them, and they have a lot of volatility, a lot of vega. So these are the ones we look at to help predict those price levels for Facebook. So here's how you do it. All right, we have the options for this Friday. I'm just going to go in and put in 2%. I don't need the options that are far out of the money. I just need those at the money options. Come on down. Here we go. So Facebook's trading right now at 302.50. So I'm going to look at the 302.5 calls, which are at $8.40, and the 302.5 puts, which are at $8.38. We'll just call that $8.40 for math. So what's $8.40 plus $8.40? $16.80. So what this simple rule is telling me is that Facebook should stay in a range that is $16.80 above today's price and $16.80 below today's price. Now, the way to really do this is you wait until right before the markets close before earnings, and you do that calculation again, and that will flex a little bit. But basically what we're doing is we're getting where option traders believe Facebook is going to be. It's going to be in that range after earnings. So that's Facebook. Let's take a look at where the others are coming in at. So the others could be coming in at significantly different levels. In fact, let's take a look at Apple. So I'm going to go back to our charts. And again, Facebook, where's Facebook? Around 302.5 right now. So $16.80 above 302.5, $16.80 below 302.5. And that becomes what option traders believe is going to be the range that should hold in earnings. Let's look at Apple, AAPL. And you can see Apple's trading right now around 134.50. So there's Apple, 134.50. Let's take a look at Apple's options. And we're going to come out here to AAPL. And same thing, I'm just going to update. I want to see what Apple's options for this week. Here's the 134.49. You could go either way. Let's go ahead and take, Well, if you take the 135s, 257 and 305, really looks like about $5.60, $5.65. So if you take $5.65, put it above 134.49 and below 134.49, you're looking at a range somehow where Apple looks like it's going to go to, they expect it to go up, but not above the 140 level, and or down, but not below the 139 level. So, I'm sorry, 129 level. So 129 to about 140 is what Apple's expectations are to be. Let's look at Amazon. That one's going to be a big one because it's just a bigger dollar amount you're dealing with. So AMZN. Again, if you want to get the range, we're just simply taking the at-the-money calls plus the at-the-money puts with the least amount of time to expiration. That's this Friday. So here's Amazon trading around 33.37. Options on Amazon. AMZN, and I'm going to do the 1% here because even at 1%, we're going to look at a lot of strikes. So 33.35s, $75, 33.35, $73. You know, let's just round this up. So let's call it 75 and 75. So you add those two together, the at-the-money call, at-the-money put, you got 150. So $150 above 33.37 and $150 below 33.37. Google. Now, you know, again, if you take a look at Amazon, you look at Amazon's stock chart, notice that a couple weeks ago, people weren't worried about Amazon's earnings, and the implied volatilities were low. They were down here at 24. Now they're coming up close to 40, and they're going to continue to rise until the time that Amazon reports the earnings. Then they're going to crash because that's what happens. We get this bubble that comes in, this whole big, what are they going to be? What are they going to be? Then the earnings are announced, and the hot air comes out of implied volatility. The hot air comes out of theta. And the move is known, and then everything calms back down again. So that is Amazon. Google. So Google is the only one that I saw that really is just crushing it right now in terms of price. Here we go, another new high. So if you take a look at Google, see the last time they reported earnings? Look what happened. Sky high, and then after the earnings announcement, it dropped right back down. And that's the expectations again. So Google's reporting in one day. So you're going to see Google's, may wiggle around a little bit in the next day. But this is going to pop up again before earnings. And then it's going to drop after earnings like it's done so many other times. What does Google have for a range before earnings? Well, same thing. GOOGL. Going to look at those at-the-money options. There they are. The 23.15s, 53 by 50, so this is going to be about $103 above Google's current price and $103 below Google's current price, and that's the range that option traders expect Google to stick the day after the earnings are reported. That's what expectations are. Let's look at one more. I want to look at Tesla. Tesla reports, believe today after the bell, TSLA. And here we can see that, let's look at the chart first. So Tesla, TSLA. Did Tesla move up after the Musk comments? Not much. It is up on the day, but not much. It's actually pulled back a bit. But as you can see, Tesla is trading right now around $738. So what do the options look like? Let's just quickly update this week's options. The 740s. As of right now, the 740s are the options that are at the money. 27.83, let's call that 28 and 29. All right, 28 and 29 are going to be 50. That's $57. So $57 above current price, $57 below current price is the range, is the earnings range for expectations. All right. So there we go, guys. Let's take a look and see what we got happening in the comment section. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw TSLA on the screen because this is the one that really is making the announcement before earnings. And as you can see, it's sitting real pretty in between those highs and lows. Okay. Hi, everyone. Very new on trading. And is that Basirma? Welcome. Glad to have you on the channel. I can tell you and anyone else that's new out here, we do things a little differently than you might see on other live streams here on YouTube. All right. I'll tell you what I don't do. We're not in the hoping or the wishing or the praying or, I think it's going up. Think is not something we can quantify. So what we do here is we take years and years of data and we actually quantify that data and we find repeatable trading patterns. For instance, the repeatable trading pattern for the S&P for the month of April so far has been up. So if we take a look at SPY and we go out all the way, I'm actually going to put a daily chart out. And we go to the beginning of April. And is that the beginning of April? This is a daily chart? Yeah. No, that's not the beginning of April. The beginning of April started right there. So our historical patterns have told us that April is going to be roughly a bullish month. And I also mentioned it on this live stream the last couple weeks, that April is one of the strongest bullish months of the year when you look at seasonality. How did we do? 394 on SPY. We're at 417 today. That is a nice bump in terms of stock price, overall stock price. So we do that. Guess what? The month of May doesn't look so good. So for those of you new, what we do is we look at back-tested, repeatable opportunities. Some of them are seasonal. Some of them are fundamental. Some of them are technical. And we share those ideas with you. And so that's what we do here on the program. We also show you alternatives of what we do here other than simply buying and going long. So if you like what we do, guys, help us out and like this channel. You're liking this channel, it does a couple things for us. It helps the YouTube algorithm. It helps some of the folks come from the dark side. And I call the dark side the hoping, the wishing, the thinking, the praying. You really don't want to trade that way. I've been doing this for more than half my life. Right? I'm not a 20-something-year-old guy that got into this last year because I was out of work and decided I was going to start live streaming. I've been doing this half my life. I took my licks back in the 80s. Potentially 1987. That's when I got hurt, right? The stock market crash of 87. And so my history is I had a margin call in 87 that I couldn't meet, right? It was a sloppy start, I got to tell you. And I ended up spending majority of 1988 paying back my broker because I owed them money. And so I learned starting in really 1989 moving forward. I was on the American Stock Exchange working for a local company out there in the mid-90s. From there, my partner and I started a company called Optionetics. We did pretty well. Became one of the biggest options education firms in the world. Got taken, we merged with a brokerage firm, which then got bought by another brokerage firm, Charles Schwab. And from there, I was a managing director of Charles Schwab for the longest time. And then walked away after my contract was up and started this boutique education, Tom's Trading Room. Here we offer, on the YouTube channel, we offer free education. Also, if you're part of our Optionetics community, we do offer a lot of free education there with Optionetics as well. We do premium publications. You can see those and access those through our free reports tab down in the descriptions. Take a look at that. That'll show you some free trading reports that we do, and we cycle through those. We're coming out with a new one real soon called Sell in May and Go Away. George Fontenilles, I see that. Fred, awesome. Long live George Fontenilles. That was my trading partner. Great guy, by the way, great guy. Also, very approachable person. And some of the folks that work with me now, and I'm going to throw some names out there. Some of you guys know him. Jay Harris has been with us for decades. Mike Wade, decades. Jeff Beamer, decades. Joe Contes, decades. This is the team that came over from Optionetics. We're still working together. We're still providing education. We're still doing publications. We have our software platform, which, by the way, has won many awards through Forbes, Best of the Web, and in Stocks and Commodities, the bonus edition that came out. We are in here this was a Reader's Choice Awards. We were in here, Optionetics. It was behind now. We weren't number one, guys. I mean, when you're going up against Thinkorswim and you're going up against TradeStation, that's the Goliaths. But we were happy to take third place, all right, in options education and in trading systems through our software. Fantastic. And for those of you that voted on us, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. So as we finish out this YouTube hour that we do, I want to leave you with this, all right? We did talk about, for those of you that came on a little bit late, we did a whole session on looking at the overall market, stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities, cryptocurrencies. We looked at buying opportunities in crypto, and pretty soon we'll have the recording up. For those of you that came in late, you can check those out and look at those buys we had in Bitcoin and the ones that we had in Ethereum, Litecoin, as well as others. And then we finished up the hour talking about how you can look at stocks that are coming into earnings and find those zones, all right, using options that I think everybody needs to know. You know, when you're going into earnings, if you're going to pick earnings points, take a look at what the option traders believe that these stocks are going to do after earnings, because it might help you in terms of trying to find potentially a buying opportunity. All right. Yes, and Christina, let's not forget Christina either, Donna. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. You guys are absolutely awesome. I'm glad to have you as part of our live stream, and I'll continue to do this each and every week. All right. As I finish out, guys, I want to mention this. Let's do, you know, we can do a kind of a quick summary of what we've covered here. So, so as we move forward into next week, I want to talk about sell in May and go away as a strategy. But I'm also going to show you really how well that's looked in just the last 10 years. Sell in May and go away is a strategy that's been around for decades. But how have the last 10 years performed? We're going to take a look at that. And we're going to look at stocks that typically go down in the month of May. So that's something that's important to talk about as well. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at Ethereum. We'll take a look at Litecoin. Maybe pull a few others up as well and see what they're doing. Is this rebound going to last? Is it not? We'll take a look at that as well. And of course, I really want to get into taking a look at sell in May, go away. We'll take a look at that. Last but not least, if you're still here, and many of you are, again, I want to thank you guys for being part of the live stream. Do this for me if you haven't done so yet. If you found this information informative, help me out, help the channel out. Hit that like button, please. Someone said, "Where's the love button?" I don't know where the love button is, guys. But if you hit that like button, it really is going to help support our channel. It helps support the charities that we donate all of our proceeds to here through our channel. We do 3 videos a week here on the channel typically. We do a live stream video here every Monday at noon. Number 2, we do a video where we concentrate in about a 8 to 10 minute video. I'm going to be targeting my 8 to 10 minute video on earnings, on FAANG, and how to spot those earnings. If you want a real crunched in video, I'm going to do that as well. And then number 3, I podcast once a week with my partner in crime. That's Chris Johnson. And Chris and I got a really good one for you this week. So I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I'm going to be taking a little trip in the next 30 days, kind of a fact-finding mission out of the country. And I will talk a little bit more about what that is, not only this Thursday, but I might share some of it with you Monday on next week's live stream. But I'm going on a fact-finding mission for business and pleasure. And it might be more than just a fact-finding mission, so you'll have to find out. Chris Burns knows who it is. Who's Chris Burns? Chris Burns is the guy that I met over at Lowe's last week. If you guys are just tuning in, I just want to show you real quick. So I had to go into Lowe's and and check on a countertop order. And lo and behold, one of our students it runs me down. "Hey, Tom," and he's running me down, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" So this guy follows us on the cryptocurrency. I took a selfie of me and him, and I told him I put it on this live stream. So Chris, hope you're out here, and hi, it was great meeting you again. Guys, thank you all for supporting the channel. Thank you all for hanging out with me here over the last hour. And we'll have our next video uploaded sometime tomorrow evening. And I will see you then. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Peace out. See you soon. Bye now.